Welcome back. We've been talking throughout the day about the hiccups and oddities and strangenesses and outright in Virginia, corruption of our electoral process. One of the biggest pieces of that is money in our electoral process, and somebody who's doing something about it is the Attorney General for the great state of New York, Eric T. Schneiderman. Attorney General Schneiderman, welcome back to the program.
Great to be here. Thank you.
It is great to have you with us. I understand that you have figured out a way that you can do something about this so-called dark money, at least in the state of New York.
Yeah, we have, as I think a lot of people know, become aware. My office regulates nonprofits in New York State, and we become aware, as everyone nationally should be aware, that in the 2012 election cycle, people who wanted to conceal their identity as donors and conceal the expenditures on attack ads laundered about almost $500 million through 501c4 nonprofits. It's really an abuse, in my view, of the nonprofit form. These are supposed to be social welfare organizations, and it's a way. Citizens United was bad enough, but Citizens United at least required disclosure. In fact, that was one of the key arguments in the majority.
Yeah, there was an 8-1 ruling, as I recall, on the disclosure part.
It was one of the most important arguments as to why the ruling was not going to destroy our notion of one equal justice under law and electoral equality. But this C4 loophole is the way people have avoided making such disclosure. So it's really amazing because even the SuperPACs and the PACs have to disclose who the donors are. Everyone knows Sheldon Adelson gave a lot of money to Newt Gingrich. The only reason for people to use nonprofits and abuse nonprofits is to conceal their identity. So that should make everyone very nervous, and I regulate nonprofits in New York State. So while I cannot control federal elections, because that's under the control of the federal government, we have amended our regulations regulating nonprofits that to require that if they spend $10,000 on any electoral activity, we're going to make them itemize all expenditures and all donations in New York for our state and local elections. This cycle, and I hope to have the regulations finalized in the next month or so, this cycle we elect mayor of New York City, mayor of Buffalo, county executives across the state, probably going to have a statewide referendum on casino gambling. So I can't deal with the problem of federal elections, but I certainly can set a good example for the rest of the country, I hope, by requiring full disclosure. And, my most important goal, of course, is to protect the voters and the people of the state of New York so that if someone's coming in here to spend millions of dollars on attack ads, they know who it is and they can evaluate it fairly.
Attorney General Schneiderman, my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that one of the rationales that these 501c4s have used is that because they're incorporated under a very 501c3, very similar to that provision of the IRS regulations with regard to nonprofits for educational, the same as a school would be, for example, a nonprofit school, that they're not actually running political ads, they're running educational ads. They're helping educate people about issues like the fact that a particular politician is, a bad guy or whatever. How do you deal with that?
Well, first of all, you deal with it by showing it's not true. We had a nonprofit come into New York State and intervene in 3 state senate elections, and none of the ads had anything to do with its stated purpose of educating the public about the benefits of small government and low taxes. It was all scurrilous personal attack ads. So the first step is to challenge that. But, our regulations deal with the issue simply by saying if you're doing direct political ads where you say vote for or against someone, that clearly has to be disclosed. And a lot of these C4s spend money on just such ads. And if you're spending money on what are supposed to be issue ads, but they name a candidate or an official and it's within 180 days of the election, you should disclose that too. Because a lot of these, are very, call Senator Smith and tell him to stop raising taxes on working families and cutting funds for education. Within 180 days of the election, we think people should know who's paying for that ad too. I have jurisdiction over nonprofits spending money in New York State and raising money in New York State, and I think I'm confident our regulations will be challenged, but I'm also confident that we'll prevail in court. And we have to call attention to the fact that because of the inaction of the Internal Revenue Service, people are getting away with concealing their identity. And you have to wonder why people would want to conceal their identity. I mean, now under Citizens United, they're allowed to spend as much as they want in favor or opposition to a candidate. It's sort of like someone, if you're working in a bank and someone walks in wearing a mask, you should wonder what the heck they're up to. Mm-hmm. So people who want to hide their identity by pretending to be nonprofits, there's a reason for that, and I think we're going to find out a lot. We're going to find out a lot about exactly what's going on here once these regulations kick in and we force these folks to disclose.
Does New York State have anything analogous to the initiative process in California, for example?
We do not have initiatives, but we do have referendas, and we actually have one on the ballot. I'm pretty confident we'll have one on the ballot this year, which is whether or not to legalize casino gambling, a big issue.
Will this cover that? Because there's not an individual associated with that.
No, with our regulations would cover expenditures on anything that is subject to the electoral process, elections for office or referenda that people vote on. So we would cover that as well. And again, you can just see the need for this and the simplicity of our arguments. If there are lots of ads being run in opposition to casino gambling, people ought to know if it's being paid for by casinos in neighboring states.
Yeah, this is
not because they're against casino gambling; they just don't want competition. This is the kind of disclosure that is necessary in this post-Citizens United world when unlimited sums of money can be spent. This is our last line of protection for the voters, and we intend to really be pretty tough about enforcing that line and raising this issue with, as I have with my colleagues in other states and with my federal counterparts, because I look forward to federal action on this before long. This system can't stand.
Well, that was another question that came to mind is, and we're talking with the Attorney General of the state of New York, Eric Schneiderman, are you blazing a trail here? Will New York be the first state to do this, or are you following in the wake of somebody, and are you trying to make this a national issue? Are you hoping that people will pick up on this?
Well, we are the first state to do this, to move forward and require disclosure. My first goal is to protect New Yorkers, and the reason we're moving quickly on this and we're holding hearings around the state to get all the input that we think is appropriate and then finalize the regs is because we want to get this in place before the local elections this year. We have a lot at stake in New York. New York City mayor, not an insignificant job. People should know who's spending money in support of or opposition to a candidate. But this, really a secondary goal is, as you said, we are flagging this as a national issue. We're not alone in that. There are others who have raised this issue. A lot of good government groups have very aggressively been pursuing the Internal Revenue Service, filing rulemaking petitions. The IRS has refused to act. They have refused to address this issue, and to me, it's sort of an incomprehensible dereliction of duty, and I'm hopeful that this will increase the pressure on them. And I think some of our federal counterparts on Capitol Hill are looking at raising this issue.
We just have a half a minute left. Don't you think maybe the IRS is paralyzed because they're afraid of being perceived as being political?
Well, I think they give, they certainly have always pushed back, giving that as an excuse. But you can't have $500,000 being laundered through organizations that under the Internal Revenue Code are supposed to be exclusively, and that word is used, social welfare organizations without the IRS intervening. So I think they will be forced to act at some point, and if we speed that process up through our work in New York, that's a good thing too.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, thank you for the great work you're doing on behalf of your state, and let us hope that it echoes across the United States. Sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Great having you on.